Peace to the fam out there. Peace and blessings. Hope all is well to you guys. Man, woman, and children. On tonight, we're going to do a lesson on the behalf of, you guessed it, Solid Foundation Israelite Academy. And I am your host, S.F.I.A Israel, bringing you another wonderful, outstanding lesson. And this lesson is going to be entitled, Your Body is Not Your Friend. So let me bring up the drawing chart. Let me bring up the drawing chart, because a picture speaks 1,000 words, but a movie speaks 1,000,000. Okay. I'm going to be using the paint program to illustrate some things concerning that your body is actually your enemy. So here is what we know as the human body. Now, this is not, a well-drawn image, but it will work for educational purposes. All right? We're not trying to get too technical and fancy. We're just trying to give you an illustration for your edification. This is what you would call the human body. All right? Here's the human body. Now, your human body, your physique, your frame, because all the body goes back to a Latin term. It derives from a Latin term, which the body, derives from the Latin, which means dig, which means house. Okay, so your body is actually, your house or your frame. It's a vessel. It's like a container that holds what? It's a container that holds your fourth dimensional body, which is your spirit man. So the spirit dwells within the head, brothers and sisters. Okay? The spirit dwells within the head. That's why your head is the hottest area on your body. If you did not know that, your head generates excessive heat because that's where your spirit dwells, in the center of your head. Many have been led to believe that the spirit dwells within the pineal gland. That's why they call the pineal gland the seat of the soul, because that's where the soul sits. Now, this have not been 100% proven, but you be the judge. Okay, and that's why most likely the spirit dwells within the head, to be able to visualize, because your eyes are like windows for the fourth dimensional being to see out of. So your eyes are like windows for the soul. So if your eyes are windows for the soul, where do you think the soul dwells? It dwells within the head. That's where the soul dwells. Okay? And this lesson is going to be that your body is your enemy. I will explain this, brothers and sisters, if you would just bear along with me and be patiently. I will explain this. Your body is your friend. Forgive me, your body is your enemy. Sorry. Let's go ahead and put that there, so we won't get tongue-tied again. Your body is your enemy. Okay? Actually, so your body will, if you visualize your body your enemy, then your body will be like this. You see, your body hates You know, these are basically the eyebrows and the eye. This is a mad body, as you can see. This body is angry and mad. Why? Because your body hates your inner being, which is your fourth dimensional body, or some may say your spiritual man. Your body hates that. So those of you that's thinking that your body is your friend because you want to decorate your body, you know, you want to, you know, plaster your body and put tattoos all over your body, you know, pierce your body up, just garnish your body with jewelry, and you get facial makeovers and things in that nature. You may get your hair cut, you might go to the salon to get your hair did. You're going down there to get your nails. You're getting a manicure, pedicure. All these bodily aspects and traits that you cater to your body, that's actually your enemy, man. That's your enemy. So I wouldn't be too fascinated and try to invest a whole lot of time into trying to garnish my outer man. What I need to do, I need to be focused more on my inner man than anything. That's the most important thing of all time, is to dress up your inner man and to hell with your outer man. Why? Because it's your enemy, and I'm going to show you that. See, a lot of times what we do is that we make deals. We may make deals with the body, you know. Not only deals, sometimes we make promises. If I'm spelling this right, take the mistakes for love. We make promises, and also other things we do, we make contracts with the body. Okay? And we should not do this, brothers and sisters. We should not make contracts with the body, deals and promises. Okay? We should not do that. Because even if you was to make a contract, deal, or promise with your body, you know what your body gonna do? It's gonna show you in the process of time that it will break every contract, deal, or promise that you make with it. That's why your body is not everlasting. This is exactly why your body must, at some point in time, your body must die. Okay? Okay, as you see right here, this guy is, you know, laying on the ground and he's dead. Your body must die at some point. So you done made all these contracts and deals and promises to your outer being, to your third dimensional being, or you would say just your human body. You done made all these contracts, deals, and promises with it, and now it comes to the declining point where it dies out. So if you made contracts, deals, and promises with your body, just know when your body dies, the contracts, the deals, and the promises that you made, that you agreed with, they also dies. Brothers and sisters, this is an imperative question you should ask yourself at the end of the day. What contracts, deals, and promises that you are making with your spirit, your inner being? See, we focus too much on the outer being, brothers and sisters. We give very little attention and very little effort and time to the inner being. Now, this is some real stuff I'm telling you. Okay? We give less time to the inner being. We give less time to the inner being, when this should get, you know, all of our time. Just about, if not all of it. You know what else we do? Brothers and sisters, we will feed. You stuff your face. You know, we all must eat to survive and live, but we too busy stuffing our face. You know, we will go off and we will feed. Okay? As you see over here, we will feed the outer band. We feed the outer band. We make sure it's nourished. We make sure it's treated properly. And we make sure it gets all the health care that it can get. But what we don't do, brothers and sisters, we care less about feeding the inner man. We care less about building up. We care less about building up the inner man. We care less about being committed to the inner being, and so much more. You have to pick, brothers and sisters. You have to decide. You have a decision to make. And that decision is that, as you can see, the green represents the inner being, which is the spirit, the fourth dimensional body. This is what the green represents. It represents the spirit. And we have a decision to make. Whether you're going to pay homage to the spirit, or whether you're going to pay homage to the flesh. You have to decide, brothers and sisters. You have to decide. You have to decide. Which one are you going to go with? Are you going to go with the spirit? Or are you going to go with the flesh? There is no in between. There is no in between. What do you mean, Shabar Israel? There is no in between. Let me show you something. So, I'm going to show you guys something. And I'm going to use black for the flesh. Green is representing the spirit. There is no in between. What I'm saying is, as you can see down here. See that? Down here is a combination of the flesh and the spirit together. And brothers and sisters, there is no in between. I'm going to bring this out in scriptures. Basically, there is no in between. There is no in between. You have to decide whether you're going to, roll with the spirit or roll with the flesh. There is no between. And the reason why I say there's no between, this is Revelation 3:15. I know your works, that whether you are neither cold nor hot. I would that basically you would be, basically what it's talking about is that, let me read it verbatim. I know your works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou were cold or hot. Revelation 3:16. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. So, basically what the Heavenly Father is saying here is that you have to decide whether you're going to be cold or hot. You have to decide. That's what takes you back here. See, to be rather cold or hot. To be rather cold or hot. Hot is referring to the spirit being, because we are pure energy. When you think of energy, you think of a flame of fire, or you think of some type of substance or power when you think of energy, right? Like, let's say you think of some flames of fire. That represents energy. Okay, this represents energy. All right, and that also is in reference to you being hot, because that's why we generate body heat. That's why when you die, when you're on the verge of dying, DTS situation, a death-threatening situation, and you are like, a death-threatening situation, or you may call it a NDE, near-death experience. When you are having a near-death experience, you become cold. You start gradually getting cold. Why? Because your body is powered by your spirit, and your spirit is a reference of energy. That's what we are, energy. So your spirit is what is called hot. And Revelation 3 and 15 and Revelation 3 and 16, all these together, it says, man, you have to pick a side, whether you're going to be hot or cold. Now, if you're going to decide to be cold, when you think of coldness, you think of murder. You see bloodshed, envy, hate, robbery. When you think of cold, that's what you think of. Most likely is referred to the flesh. So cold is referred to the flesh here, and hot is referred to the inner being, which is the spirit. And you got to pick a side, whether you're going to be hot or cold. You cannot be lukewarm, which is right here. Because if you're lukewarm, the Heavenly Father said, I will spew thee out of my mouth. To spew you out of his mouth means to be incarnated and to come back on this earth all over again to try to go through something that you didn't get right. That's what that means. So we have a decision to make, man. You can make contracts, deals, and promises with your body, or you can choose to make contracts, deals, promises with your spirit being. And if I was you, I would make a wise decision on following my spirit being rather than making contracts, deals, and promises with the outer being. But sometimes it's hard as hell, and the reason why I say that, sometimes it's hard as hell because your outer being, I'm going to show you this in the scriptures because Paul said it best in Romans the 7th chapter. Sometimes, okay, this is the outer being. I'm just drawing like this human body. It's not the best, but it's just for educational purposes. Your outer being, which is your body, okay? That's, like I said, your enemy. In Revelation 3 verses 15 and 16, your body is also referred to being cold. So yeah, your body is your enemy, and it's also referred to being cold. Why? Because most likely your outer being is on a different vibration than your inner being. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? I'm going to give you an illustration of the inner being now. which is on the right hand side. And I can't really make the inner being like in the shape of a human. I'll make the inner being like in the shape of some fire or something like that. But this is the spirit, right? This is the spirit. And this is known as the inner being, because the inner being is nothing but infinite power and energy. So we're going to color that yellow, which relates to infinite power and energy. And also the scriptures describes it as being hot. Being hot. Okay? And like I said, when you're thinking about the outer being, such as the flesh, the scriptures it illustrates that as being cold. And sometimes, you know, it's hard to do right, man. You know, it's hard to make a decision on whom to serve. Whether you want to serve the flesh or you want to be committed and serve the spirit. You got to make a decision. But remember, the two cannot be merged. And I think that's the hardest thing on earth for a human to do, man. But I'm not going to say it's not capable. I'm not going to say it cannot be achieved. But you know, it's so hard, man. Because Paul said it best. Let's go to Romans the 7th chapter. Because Paul said it best. Paul said it best. Romans the 7th chapter. Let's start with verse 15. Let's start with verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. So Paul said that he was sold under sin. What do Paul mean? Paul was sold under sin. Why? Because he knew that the flesh would sometime bring the spirit in subjection if you're not aware of it, man. He knew that. That's why he said that. He said that he was sold under sin because he was in a sinful body, man, which is the flesh. I'm trying to color all this in. As you can see, yeah, man. So to be sold under sin is to be subjugated or subdued by the flesh, which is here. So Paul was letting you know that he wasn't perfect and upright. He was sold. He said, but I'm carnal. Now, what is carnal? Romans 7 and 14. What is carnal? Carnal is, in the Greek, all right, sarkikos. Sarkikos. If I'm pronouncing that right, which is Greek 4559, or you can say 4559, and carnal is pertaining to the flesh, man. Having the nature of flesh. Here's another example. Under the control of the animal appetites. It says, governed by the mere human nature, not by the Spirit of God. Because if you're not, you know, circumspect and careful, you can be governed by the enemy, which is your flesh. You can be governed by that which is cold. You can be governed by the flesh, man. So pertaining to the flesh, that's what carnal means. Pertaining to the flesh, it's fleshly substance to the body related to birth, and no one comes in by birth but without having a fleshly state, man. So you know that's what he's talking about. He said he's carnal. He's saying that basically he's a human being, and just because he was an apostle, he was a follower of the Messiah. He's letting you know here that don't think that he was perfect and upright, because he did some shit in his life too. So he says, but I am carnal, sold under sin. He said that I was sold under sin, like all of us. So when somebody do something diabolical, or somebody do something that's off the wall, that's off the charts, then we have a tendency of looking at that person like, That's like outside of the norm, or it's unnatural. But you know what? In order to be righteous, you have to mess up. See, you cannot be righteous without first being a sinner or a wicked man, woman, or a child. Because that's what actually draws you to the righteous principles of the Most High. You have to be, it's sad to say it, but you have to be so on the sin to actually be so out for the Messiah and who they call Christ and his heavenly Father. Paul is letting you know that each and every day of your lives, brothers and sisters, there is ultimately a spiritual warfare going on between these two entities right here, which is your flesh, which is your enemy, which is related to being cold, and your spirit, which is your buddy, which is in reference to being hot. That's what Paul is letting you know. Each and every day is a spiritual warfare. It's not the people around you. Your greatest enemy is you. So, you're not human. You are a spirit that's going through humanistic experiences. And what is these humanistic experiences? Works of the flesh. Diverse trials and tribulations all pertains to the carnal state. This is why in order to live here on what they call planet Earth, in order to live here, you must dwell in a body. That's your ticket for being on the earth. Just like a club. You have to have some certification letting you know that you paid to get in. Like they'll stamp your arm. They give you, like, if you go to a theme park, like Six Flags, Wild Adventures, you know, let's say if you go to like a theme park, you have to have some type of certification to let the employers or the employees of the park see that you paid to be entitled to enjoy the things of that park. They say, wait a minute. Did you sneak over the gate? Then you show them your pass. No, I paid. You show them your stamp. Your stamp or your pass for getting into the theme park, or like you might pay a certain admission or a fee to get into a football game or a basketball game. You know, that's your proof of purchase. Your stamp is your proof of purchase to let the owner or the employee see that you paid to get in. So your proof of purchase to being here on the earth is your flesh, your body. See? And Paul says that in Romans 7:15, for that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that I do. So what he's saying, to wrap this up in a nutshell, what he's saying what I want to do, I can't do it. I find it hard as hell to do what I want to do. But the stuff I don't want to do, I do it all the time. So why in the hell are we doing things that we don't want to do? When after we do those things, we are hurt. We know we failed. We know we went off. We know we willfully sinned. But is it really you that's doing the thing that you desire not? No, it's not you at all. Paul said in Romans 7:16, if then I do that which I would not, I consent into the law that is good. So what is he saying here? He said, for that which I do, I allow not. We're going to show you Romans 7:16. If then I do that which I would not, I consent into the law that is good. Romans 7:17. Now then it is no more I that do it, but the sin that dwelleth in me. So if you're doing certain things that you don't desire doing, that you don't have intentions on doing, but it just seems like you do them anyway. Like, let's give you some examples. I didn't plan on getting on a porn. I didn't plan on getting on a porn site today. I didn't plan on getting on my computer and going into a porn site. I did not plan getting into my car and going over, let's say, Tasha's house. I didn't plan on doing that. You and Tasha got the rubbing and kissing and then turning into something else. When you are already in a relationship or something, when you are already a married man or a married woman, I didn't have intentions on going over this particular person's house. I didn't have intentions on cheating on my spouse. I didn't have intentions on robbing that bank. I just needed the money. I didn't have intentions on whatever, man. And you hate the fact that you did those things. Well, if you hate the fact that you did those things, that's not you. Romans 7:17 says, now then it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. So where do sin derive from? Where do sin comes from? The flesh, man. Your flesh is sin. So Paul is saying, if I do certain things that I don't want to do, then it ain't really me that's doing them. But it's the sin that dwelleth in me. And there can be no sin without a spirit having a bodily form. That's why I'm telling you, sin is actually on an esoteric level, skin. They just put a K between the S and the I. It's skin. Sin, skin. Your skin relates to the flesh. Romans 7:18, for I know that in me that is in my flesh, that is in my skin, sin. That is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. Your body is not your friend. It don't have a damn thing to offer you but death and destruction. That is your flesh, dwell no good thing. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not. Why? Because you've been subjugated by a humanistic body. Basically, your spirit is an inmate and your body is the prison system. See, an inmate cannot do what he wants to do in a prison system. He's subjugated by bars. He's subjugated by security officers. He's subjugated by the prison system itself. You cannot be an inmate and think you're going to do what you desire to do in the prison system. So you cannot be a spirit man, spirit woman, a spirit child, and think you're going to desire to do whatever you want to do in a humanistic bodily form. It's the same thing. So to be incarcerated is to be subjugated. And when you subjugate it, you can become frustrated. So we are spiritual beings that's going through humanistic experiences that we don't like. And when these humanistic experiences conquer us, get a stronghold on us and overpower us, we live in resentment. We hate the fact that we messed up. We hate the fact that we were doing good like 2 months straight, and the third month it seems like we relapsed and went back doing those old things again. We hate that. So if you hate the things that you don't desire to do, that lets you see that you are truly a good person, because if you hate the things that you don't desire doing, but you can't figure out why in the hell you can't do right, do not continue to pulverize yourself. Paul is letting you see here clearly that it's not you, but it's the sin that dwells within you. And once again, what is sin? It's in correlations to your skin. It's in correlations to your flesh. Sin, skin. They just put a K in between the S and the I. Sin creates death. So don't think strange why your flesh eventually deteriorates and dies out, because that's what it is. It's sin. It's skin. That's your enemy. Your flesh is not your friend. Your flesh is your enemy. But the best friend of all time is your fourth dimensional being, your inner man, your spirit man. That's the friend that we seem to desert. That's the friend that we seem to eradicate. That's the friend that we seem to isolate ourselves from. That's the being that we see, or the friend. That's the friend that we do not want to become acquainted with. That's just like a relationship. This particular girl and boy, they are in a relationship, a serious relationship. And the boy decides to cheat on the girl, breaks the girl's heart, and she crumbles. Vice versa, the girl decides to cheat on the boy, breaks his heart, and he collapses. It does not feel good to know that you're being played and to be cheated on. How you think your spirit feels when you cheat on it to show more effort and attention to the outer being? When you desert your inner being to show more attention to your outer being, think about how your inner being feels. It's just like that particular boy that got his heart broke because his girlfriend decided to cheat on him with another man. It is just like that particular woman that got her heart broke because her man decided to cheat on her with another girl. So when you desert your spirit and give more attention to your outer being, you have to understand how your spirit man is feeling. It's not a good feeling. See, we don't reason with the inner man. We always reasoning with the outer man. To reason with the outer man is to reason with death. To reason with the enemy, which is the flesh, is to reason with death and destruction. To reason with the enemy, which is the flesh, is to reason with, you guessed it, sin. You have to decide. Paul was letting you see that he was going through tough humanistic experiences. Because he said, I don't understand some stuff I do. I really don't want to do this. The things that I desire to do good, that's the things I find it so staggering and so chaotic and so hard to achieve and to succeed at doing. Why is that? Because there's what you would call a spiritual warfare going on each and every day in our lives. It's not, look, it's not what's around you. It's what's in you. Romans 7 and 19. For the good that I would do, for the good that I would, I do not. But the evil which I would not, that I do. So why in the hell Paul say that the evil things that I don't want to do, those are the primary things I do? And the good things that I would desire to do, those are the less, those are the things that is focused on the less. Because he said clearly, he said that he was sold on the sin in Romans 7:14. He's sold. In order to be sold, you first have to be what? If you are sold, you have to be purchased. Romans 7:20. Now, if I do that, I would not. It is no more I that do it, but it's the sin that dwells within me. Romans 7:21. I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is always present with me. Yeah, because you're going to go through that every day in your lives. Don't never expect to wake up one particular day and say this day is going to be all gravy. This day is going to be nothing but eternal bliss and happiness. It's not going to be any flaws, any errors within this day. That's a lie, man. You know why? Because to live is to be evil. Because like I said, evil backwards is actually live. So while you're living on this third dimensional plane, you're going to face difficult times, trials, and diverse tribulations. It's inevitable. So I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. That's how it's always been. That's how it's always going to be. Because there's a balance in life. People don't want to talk about the bad things that they create in their lifetime are the things that they do, which is on a negative scale. People don't want to talk about that. All people seem to gravitate towards is the good and pleasant things. They don't want to mention anything on the negative side. They want to focus on everything on the positive side. But like I said, when you think of a battery, the battery has a positive side and a negative side. That's how it always have been in life. The battery has a positive side and a negative side. There's a ground wire and there's another wire. Think about that. If it's hot, there's cold. If it's up, there's down. If it's man, there's woman. If it's boy, there's girl. Is it bad, there's good. Is it out, there's in. Why is that? Because that's the balance of life. That's the yin and the yang. If there's God, there's Satan. If there's angels, there's demons. If there's life, there's death. If there's death, there's life. Why is that? Why is that? Is there's hot, there's cold. Fire, water. Why is it? Because that's the balance of life. Paul is letting you see, I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. So you should be always circumspect when you're doing good things to a particular person, or in general, if you're doing something good, you should always be circumspect. You should always be on the lookout that evil is somewhere near lurking. It's too good to be just upright for a whole entire week. That sounds great. I would like to be upright and perfect for a whole entire week, but it would never happen. Because in the midst of you being upright and perfect, evil is present. It can come through your family. It can come through your friends. It can come through your pets. This is the thing that we must understand. Romans 7:22, for I delight in the law of God after the errant man. For I delight in the law of God after the errant man. What is the errant man? The errant man, the fourth dimensional body. The spirit man. That's the only way you can truly delight in the law of God. By resonating through the errant man and relegating the outward man. Eradicating the outward man. That don't owe you a damn thing but death and destruction. You spend all this damn time glorifying your body. Eventually your body is going to die out and go in the grave. Your spirit is everlasting. Why don't we glorify that? It's like the thing that's everlasting, we don't glorify. It's like the thing that's momentarily, that's what we seem to gravitate towards. The thing that is so damn contemporary and brief. It seems that we attribute a lifetime in that. But yeah, your body is your enemy. Galatians 5:16. Galatians 5:16. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. What is the lust of the flesh? The desires of the humanistic state. See, your flesh has desires like your spirit. Your flesh has diverse desires. We're going to discover what those desires are that pertains to your flesh. Galatians 5:17. For the flesh lusts against the spirit. So why is your flesh and your spirit is not in agreement? I thought the flesh and the spirit should be in agreement. The flesh and the spirit cannot be in agreement because the Messiah, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, said that you cannot be lukewarm. That was in Revelation chapter 3. Remember when we read that? He said that he would really like for you to be hot or cold. You cannot be in between. That's like paying homage to the flesh and then turning around and paying homage to the spirit and trying to make both equivocal. You're trying to make it equivalent. No, It said the flesh lusts against the spirit. What does that mean? Your body is not your friend. The flesh lusts against the spirit. You know what? If you seen somebody mistreating someone, beating their brains out, taking their money, you saw this. You walking to your job or you walking from the store, you seen a guy like literally getting beat, jumped. Blood was oozing out of him and everything. They was like gang beating this boy. The boy was just constantly screaming for his life. Stop, help. You looking across the street, you see like three guys on this boy, beating his brains out. Your heart goes out for that boy, doesn't it? You desire to help that particular boy. And you hate the ones that's carrying the affliction out on the boy. Now, in your eyes, those particular boys that's beating the boy up, they are your enemy. Because they don't have no intentions of helping the boy. So most likely they are the boy's enemy. So why would you be friends with the enemy? Your flesh is your enemy. Why would you be friends with that? This is logical thinking here, because this is to open your mind up to let you see that if something is your enemy, that's stupid as hell for you to be friends with it. But that's what we do. We bargain with the flesh. We make contracts, deals, and agreements with the outer being, but we don't do a damn thing to attribute nothing to the inner being. It's the simple truth, man. Oh my goodness. That story between the Messiah, oh my goodness. That story between the Messiah, who they call Jesus the Christ, we know him as Yahweh. I hope y'all really understand the story of the crucifixion. When Pontius Pilate was asked by the masses of the people, who should he set free? Was it Barabbas the murderer, or should he set the Messiah free? And those wicked Jews and the masses of the people, they chose Barabbas the murderer and told Pontius Pilate to set him free instead of setting an innocent man, the Messiah, free. You know what that's really talking about? That's talking about how people would quickly make agreements and deal with the enemy before they make agreement and deal with the true friend. That's what that's talking about. Okay? That's esoteric knowledge for you, man. I don't understand. Why would they pick the good guy? I don't understand. It seems as though they should have elected the good guy to go free. They should have chose the good guy to go free. But they choose the bad guy. They choose the wrong guy, it seems. They show more homage and respect to a murderer, a bad guy, and show less homage and respect to an uprighteous man that did no wrong and healed the sick, raised the dead, and was the ultimate example of the law of God. That's who they eradicated. But you don't understand. You still don't understand why did the masses of the people choose a murderer over a righteous man. That was the ultimate representation of you choosing the enemy over the friend. Now, what is that? People seem to gravitate towards their flesh, which is the enemy, more than gravitating towards the inner being, which is the friend. See, the inner being is an ultimate representation of Christ. That's why the scripture says, greater is he that's within me than he that is in the world. Because he that within you is the Christ, the Messiah. But that's the very person we don't gravitate towards. We gravitate towards the fleshly being, the outer appearance. The outer appearance is correlations to Barabbas. And that's who most people seem to select. That's who most people seem to give more attention to, the outer being, which is Barabbas. But the inner being, that's the Christ that was rejected. So once again, I hope this was a wonderful lesson to you guys. Share this knowledge and truth on the behalf of Solid Foundation Israelite Academy. Be sure to click that subscribe button, brothers and sisters. Share the knowledge and bless others. This has been a wonderful lesson on tonight. We hope you receive something, if not nothing. And till next time, Shalom.